This is the Elusive Gathering podcast, where true horror stories are told in terrifying detail. Some killers don't just take lives, they leave behind messages, haunting reminders that they were there and they will return. Tonight, we step into Chicago's shadowed streets between June 1945 and January 1946, a time when fear gripped the city and every locked door still felt too thin. 3 innocent lives stolen and 1 message left behind, scrawled in red lipstick. For heaven's sake, catch me before I kill more. I cannot control myself. This is the chilling story of the lipstick killer. June 5, 1945. The first murder, Josephine Ross.
On a humid Tuesday morning in the heart of Chicago, the maid of 43-year-old Josephine Ross arrived at her apartment on North Kenmore Avenue, expecting routine. Instead, she found horror. Josephine's lifeless body lay on the bed, savagely stabbed multiple times. Her face was obscured, covered with one of her own garments, as if the killer couldn't bear to look at what he had done, or didn't want to be watched. Blood soaked the sheets and splattered the walls. But there were no signs of forced entry. No valuables taken. In her clenched hand, investigators found clumps of dark hair, proof that she had fought with all her strength, looked her killer in the eye, and resisted until her last breath. At first, the press whispered of a crime of passion. But detectives sensed something far more sinister.
December 10, 1945. The second murder, Frances Brown.
6 months passed. The city exhaled. And then, fear returned. On December 10th, 32-year-old Frances Brown came home to her apartment on North Pine Grove Avenue after an ordinary night out. She slipped off her shoes, poured a drink, and never heard the soft footfalls behind her. The next morning, a cleaning woman entered her apartment. What she saw would scar her forever. Frances's body was found slumped against the wall, a large knife embedded deep in her neck. A bullet hole pierced her skull. Blood streaked the walls. But the most chilling detail wasn't the violence. It was the message written in crimson lipstick across the apartment wall. For heaven's sake, catch me before I kill more. I cannot control myself. A desperate plea? Or a twisted taunt? The press seized on the message and a name was born, the lipstick killer. The city began to tremble.
January 7, 1946. The most horrifying crime, Suzanne Degnan.
The new year brought with it unimaginable terror. On the night of January 6th, 6-year-old Suzanne Degnan went to bed safe in her family's apartment in the Edgewater neighborhood. Her parents tucked her in. But by dawn, her room was empty. At 6:20 a.m., Suzanne's mother, Helen, discovered the nightmare. The window screen had been cut. On the floor, a ransom note. Get $20,000 ready. Wait for word. Do not notify FBI or police. Bills in 5s and 10s. Burn this for her safety. Police flooded the neighborhood. Helicopters circled overhead. And then hours later, horror became reality. Beneath North Winthrop Avenue in the grimy sewers of Chicago, police discovered Suzanne's dismembered body. Her remains were placed in separate storm drains, the work of someone methodical, detached, almost surgical. The city's heart broke. Mothers kept children close. Doors that were once left open were bolted shut. But the lipstick killer was still out there, watching.
The investigation.
Detectives worked around the clock, following hundreds of leads. More than 300 suspects were questioned. A local butcher was briefly arrested. His knives matched the mutilations, but his airtight alibi freed him. False confessions flooded in. A drunken man claimed responsibility only to admit he'd simply read every detail in the newspaper. The public wanted answers, but leads turned into shadows. Witnesses offered fragments. A man seen loading a large sack into a car near the Degnan home, a figure with blood-stained clothing disappearing down an alley. But no solid trail emerged. The weight of the city's fear crushed the police. Panic spread like wildfire.
June 26, 1946. The arrest, William Aarons.
Fate twisted on a summer night. 17-year-old William Aarons, a University of Chicago student with a talent for electronics and a reputation as an eccentric loner, was caught during a failed burglary attempt. In his dorm room, police found stolen jewelry, burglary tools, and something darker: strange drawings, disturbing writings, and hints of violent fantasy. Under brutal interrogation, days without sleep, relentless questioning, and threats of violence, Aarons confessed. But his confession came with a strange twist. He claimed that the murders weren't committed by him, but by an alter ego named George Merman. George, murder, man. A lie born of desperation, or a fractured mind surfacing after months of repression?
The controversy.
The press wasted no time. William Aarons was plastered across front pages, the lipstick killer. But behind the scenes, doubts festered. Handwriting experts couldn't conclusively match Aarons's writing to the lipstick message. Physical evidence linking him to the murder scenes was flimsy. His confession was taken after sleep deprivation and intimidation. The George Merman persona was never verified by any psychiatric professional. Still, the public's hunger for closure was deafening. In court, Aarons was offered a grim choice: plead guilty to all 3 murders and receive life imprisonment, or risk the electric chair. Aarons took the deal. But for the next 65 years until his death in 2012, he would claim innocence, trapped in a prison of both concrete walls and public opinion.
The lingering legacy.
The lipstick killer case left scars far deeper than ink on newsprint. The haunting phrase, "I cannot control myself," became part of criminal folklore, cited in police training and echoed in pop culture. Some believe that Alfred Hitchcock took inspiration from the twisted duality of the lipstick killer case when crafting Psycho. The controversy also forced change. Police interrogation practices for juveniles were re-examined, and the dangers of coerced confessions became part of American legal history. To this day, true crime enthusiasts and historians debate: was William Aarons truly the lipstick killer, or simply a brilliant, troubled teen sacrifice to calm a terrified city?
The lipstick killer murders are not just unsolved crimes. They're chilling reminders of how fear can shape a city's justice, and how sometimes the truth may never be fully known. Was it madness, miscarriage of justice, or a monster hiding in plain sight? Some questions will forever go unanswered, but the terror remains. Thank you for listening to the Elusive Gathering podcast. If you found this story chilling, subscribe for more terrifying true crime cases and dark history that will stay with you long after the episode ends. Until next time, keep your doors locked.